I will always remind people aggressively of exactly where I'm at on the political spectrum every time. You will never read anything from me and have a guess, oh, is Destiny becoming more conservative? That will never happen, because almost immediately after I'll say, but no confusion, I think progressives are insane, but I think that 90% of the Republican Party has lost their fucking minds and have like wandered off a fucking cliff. I'm still a very strong center-left to far-left Democrat. I just don't identify with progressives anymore.
Destiny rants and raves over the Young Turks' Ana Kasparian's decision and announcement to leave the left wing. This leads Destiny to go on a tangent, even bringing up George Floyd and Derek Chauvin and all these type of things. And he even says that he is ride or die left wing. Let's see how Ana Kasparian sets him off.
Far left and some progressives after sharing the story did. I was told that by publicly sharing what had happened to me, I was stigmatizing my unhoused neighbors. Others accused me of feeding into racist tropes because they assumed that my attacker was black, but I had never even disclosed the man's race. He was white. Not only did I suddenly see the flawed thinking of some of the left, I also witnessed their cruelty and hypocrisy in real time. These terrible traits that I had associated solely with my political opponents were obviously not exclusive to their tribe. I was stupid for ever thinking that was the case. That doesn't mean everyone on the left thinks or behaves in the way this small group of lunatics do. Far from it, but it does mean that there are factions and flaws on both sides of the aisle, and no one has a monopoly on truth. Then there was the insane reaction to one of my tweets in March of 2023. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This is true. Man, that's just another unfortunate, it's just another thing. I don't know what to say. People do this. People get like mind rotted. Basically, you have a bad experience with a group of people and then you decide to become the exact opposite politically. I understand why people do it. It's just kind of sad, I guess. I don't know how you prevent a person like this from flipping because, yeah, it's dumb.
How is Ana Kasparian announcing that she's leaving the left and that she is independent going to the opposite of left wing? Isn't the opposite of left wing right wing? And as far as I know, Ana Kasparian isn't identifying herself as right wing. She's identifying as independent or unaligned. It's kind of telling that Destiny thinks that becoming independent is the opposite of left wing.
You kind of predicted this before. I mean, it's not a hard prediction to make. It happens. If you harass the fuck out of somebody, eventually they're going to look elsewhere. All hell broke loose after I posted those words. Most friends in left-wing media didn't bother reaching out privately to discuss their disagreement with my personal preference. Instead, many self-described socialists took it upon themselves to profit from conflict by publicly attacking me with monetized videos. Okay, I mean, we do news and punditry. Everything we do is monetized. Come on. A smaller leftist YouTube show put out 5 separate videos skewering me about the tweet, while conveniently erasing the advocacy I had done on behalf of the transgender community throughout my career. They even went as far as drawing a link between my tweet and trans suicides, which sadly wasn't the most unhinged outcome of the debacle. TYT's volunteer YouTube chat moderators quit over the tweet, and someone reported me to Human Resources. An on-air transgender contributor even resigned from the company after being urged by online mobs and leftist shows to do so. Curious that not one of those shows hired her after she took their advice. Ha! I never apologized for the tweet, and I never will. That whole experience forced me to come to terms with the intolerance on the left, and it allowed me to publicly reject the ideological shackles that kept my world small and less informed. Today, I'm less certain and more naive, curious, than I was 4 years ago. I've made humiliating mistakes while covering political news because I was previously unwilling to consider or understand the perspective of Americans who vote differently from me. What to expect from the now unaligned? I'm hungry for dialogue, a space for in-depth analysis, and a judgment-free zone. That is what I plan to do here. Every week, I will provide subscribers with 2 to 3 written pieces that dig deeper into the big stories of the week, with the intention of finding truth rather than promoting a political side. Video posts sharing details on breaking news and political events. A weekly podcast beginning in November that will feature long-form discussions and debates with guests from all walks of life. Very nice. And engagement with me in the comments section for paid subscribers. Join me and be part of the dialogue. The point of this new project is the pursuit of intellectual freedom and open-mindedness. I want to nurture curiosity without fear of offending the sensibilities of loyal partisans. I reject arguments about the evils of platforming people who are considered too naughty to converse with. I want to facilitate dialogue. I don't know what my political identity or label is, and I'm not even sure I want to be pigeonholed. This is my effort in pursuing extreme honesty and humility in the quest for common ground and truth without the constraints of a tribal identity. God. So does this mean that her next batch of guests are going to be all basically IDW rejects? What's wrong with this? I just think that when people define themselves politically as the opposite of whoever bullied them last, I just think it's pathetic. I don't know why or how I was gifted with this, but I was able to figure out, like in 2016, no, not 2016, I'm sorry, when I was 16, that defining yourself as the antithesis of whatever you don't like is just as stupid as being captured or enslaved by whatever the thing is. I wish more people could understand that. I think the far left is unhinged. Not only is the far left unhinged, I think I actually agreed with Anna on every single one of these major points. You could probably find videos or tweets doing it. I thought that the her homeless encounter thing was insane. Vosh had crazy shit. Was this when he called her a bitch, or was that over the transgender thing? I thought the attacks she got over the transgender thing were insane. I agreed with her, but I mean, like, that doesn't mean I'm all of a sudden going to pretend that both sides are the exact same now. Does this mean she left TYT? No, I'm sure she'll stay there. Destiny, so theoretically nothing is wrong with the letter, but the way it always goes is her turning into a right-wing apologist and potential supporter. I mean, it's the sanity washing. The biggest issue with people is when people do this thing where they're like, oh yeah, both sides have extreme problems, and you do this thing where you pretend that both of them are kind of the equivalent, or they both have problems, so they're both more or less the same. It destroys the discourse because they're not the same right now. They are incredibly different. Anna is now insinuating I'm a drug addict, presumably because she's so terrified of me that in her mind I'm beginning to take the form of the thing she fears most, a homeless person. Is Vosh implying that all homeless people are drug addicts? Wow. Destiny, this is how I felt about you prior to January of this year and you learning more about Trump. Yeah, but I think that was just a lack of information. It's not like I was just defining myself as the opposite of people that attacked him. I just didn't have the information. I'm sure there are some things I'll change my mind on too as I gather more info about it, but I'm not just like switching sides because somebody is triggering me. Where's the meme? Hold on. Dumb, medium, smart guy, meme. God, I'm so good at finding memes with Google. There's a feeling whenever somebody says objective facts, I just want to report objectively. There's a thing that you have to be very careful of. At the 55 IQ spectrum, you get these people that say things like, actually, truth is a perspective and a subjective interpretation of things is the only way to know what's real. And then you have these people in the middle who are like, actually, we can use the scientific method to epistemically verify every single thing we say and arrive at the objectively true things. And actually, all truth can be objectively determined. And there's absolutely no reason why two reasonable minds should ever disagree on what's happened with a particular topic. But the problem is that, like, as you get further into understanding how we put together ideas, how we analyze the news, how we do politics, there is a great deal of normativity, meaning you're applying different ethical weights to different things. There's a great degree of normativity that is involved before you ever get to the idea of being objectively true, right? Like, I wish that more people would just understand this. You can report things that are objectively true, and you can still lie, right? George Floyd died when Derek Chauvin was kneeling on him. George Floyd had enough opiates in his body to cause an overdose for a normal person. Derek Chauvin wasn't applying pressure on like a kill spot on his neck to kill an ordinary healthy person in ordinary circumstances, right? All three of those things are true, but the conclusion they lead to is not, right? Which is, oh, I guess Derek didn't kill him, right? Because another set of facts are people that are addicted to drugs can do many times what would be ordinarily a lethal dose for a drug, number one. Number two, people that die from downers overdosing don't scream. That's fucking retarded. You've never done drugs in your life if you say something like that. They sink into the couch, their whole CNS is so depressed that they just stop breathing, and then they die, okay? Three, you don't have to apply lethal pressure to somebody's neck or engage somebody in an actual like chokehold to cause somebody to suffocate. Children sometimes have bookcases fall on them and they suffocate underneath the bookcase. This is something you learn when you get a kid, because whenever you buy furniture, you read those warning labels because you don't want some shit to fall on your kid and kill him. You don't have to compress a child's neck in order to make him die, right?
But yeah, okay, but oh my gosh, but yeah, but when a bookcase falls on a kid, that weight is preventing them from breathing, right? A bookcase is objectively bigger than a child, and so yes, it's pressing on their chest cavity, it's pressing on their stomach. It's heavy, they can't breathe, so yes, it could suffocate them. Is that what happened with George Floyd? Yeah, okay, his knee wasn't on a kill point on his neck, sure, but was that stopping him from breathing? Was him being in that position and his neck being turned in that way, or what have you, did that prevent him from breathing? And when it comes to the George Floyd thing, I think it was like all of those factors combined. It wasn't just one thing. However, Derek Chauvin got the entire blame for it. And listen, he was convicted, so there you go. He was found guilty. We could all sit here and argue whether it was fair or not, justice was served, or if he was just a, like a sacrificial lamb for the left and BLM and all that stuff. But he was convicted, so no point in debating it. Let's just carry on.
You're saying that you can report facts that are true, but that doesn't mean that the conclusion that they're leading you to is true. There is this like very, very, very cringe obsession with like, I'm going to report the objective facts. The objective facts are, I don't want to say they're irrelevant, but that's like you're not even close to getting towards what is true at that point, right? Like the truth is combining facts in such a way that you are delivering holistically a story or a narrative that once communicated to the viewer will allow them in their mind to have the greatest understanding of a situation that has taken place. And you can give somebody true facts to lead them to believe all sorts of different things. And it's very frustrating that people have a really, really hard time understanding that. It's very annoying.
I don't get what Destiny is rambling on about. Yeah, I agree. Like, some people could take facts and twist them to however you, whatever narrative that you want to paint. I agree with that. The left does it all the time. I'm sure Destiny does it all the time, especially when he's arguing about January 6th. I understand that, but Destiny is also at the same time, he's saying like, well, objective truth, but Destiny is always about objective truth. Destiny is always about what do the polls say? What does the data show? What does this show? Like, so I don't know what he's talking about when he's talking about objective truth and putting down just getting across objective truth. Like, on one hand, yeah, he does have a good point, but on the other hand, he's always trying to be like objective truth. What does the data say? What does the polls say? What does this say? What does the data say? What does the scientists say? He's always trying to use objective truth. So I don't understand what Destiny's talking about. Do you guys understand? What's Destiny getting at here? What's his point? Leave a comment below if you could tell me.
I have trouble with the Chauvin case. Surely Chauvin couldn't know that Floyd would end up dying if an ordinary person would not die from that pressure. I don't know the details of the case, though. I mean, an ordinary person might have died from that pressure. Who knows? The problem is that what was happening to Chauvin wasn't extraordinary. It seemed like he probably just had kind of a shitty heart, and I think because he had like hardening of the walls. Was it arterial sclerosis? I don't know what the fuck it was called. The issue, though, is here's the problem. The approach to your thinking there is flawed when you're saying like, well, would a perfectly healthy person have been killed in that situation? That doesn't matter. When you train, and anybody here that's worked as a police officer or has worked as security inside of a whatever, I don't know if it's all cops or whatever, right? But anybody that's trained, right, in any of these things will know that when you get trained to restrain somebody, you're not being trained to restrain people as though every single person is 100% healthy and can endure, any possible thing that can happen. There are certain things that you do and don't do because anybody could have any condition, right? Somebody might have asthma and might be prone to an asthma attack. Somebody might get a panic attack and might hyperventilate. Somebody might have a heart problem. They might have obesity. They might have prior injuries. There's a million things that could happen to a...
What the heck? But how is the police supposed to know that? Is he, what? How is he supposed to know? Is he supposed to have x-ray vision and see, this guy has a weak heart, so I have to restrain him in this way. Or this guy, has this kind of heart problem, so we have to restrain him in that way. How is the cop supposed to know? What?
Person. So this idea that how is he supposed to know that if he was on his neck for 9.5 minutes, he would have killed him? If Floyd was in perfect health, he might have survived. Maybe, but you wouldn't measure any other type of event that way ever, right? If I walk up to a dude, or somebody walks up to me and they punch him in the face, and then that guy has a glass jaw, and then he falls back and he shatters his skull, or he hits him in the right way and he dies, or say he has a soft spot on the back of his head and he falls and he dies, you can't be like, well, bro, I didn't know a punch would kill the dude. I just assumed that he was it's a stupid argument, right?
Yeah, the only one making a stupid argument here is you, Destiny. It's totally ridiculous and dumb. A punch to the face is different than kneeling on someone's neck like that. You punch 10 people into the... listen, first of all, if you go up and punch an old man in the face, most likely he's going to get seriously hurt and possibly even unalived, But if you punch a young, healthy 20-year-old man in the face, he'll probably survive. Most likely. Yeah, there might be some event where he might fall down, hit the back of his head or something, but most likely he'll survive. However, you take 10 people who are all healthy, you kneel like that on the back of their neck like Derek Chauvin did, and again, they're all healthy, no drugs, nothing. Most likely they are all going to survive. So that is not a good analogy.
It's a stupid argument. Sounds like Anna is just saying that she's not completely supporting a specific political side, not that she's a Republican or completely denying left-wing values. Anytime you start doing a false equivalency, saying that both sides have problems, I look at you super sus. It's possible that all the work she'll do will be fine and she won't become super sus, but who knows? We'll see. Are you?
Yeah, both sides do have their problems, but one side is worse, and I'm pretty sure Destiny feels like it's the right wing that's worse. He just said it earlier that 90% of them are all wacko, or whatever he said earlier in the video. 90% are all essentially bad. It was a negative thing, that they're all crazy or what have you. So I'm pretty sure Destiny's both sides have their problems, but the right is the real problem here. Objectively, that is wrong. I know Destiny probably thinks, the right wing, they're violent, they're racist, they're this and they're that. But objectively, with the left that has been in control of the narrative with the media and such, and the left pushing this racism against white people and such, and then the left condoning the burning down of cities and trying to downplay the burning downs of cities, it's clear that the left are way more violent and way more racist and way more what have you in all around. The reason why this country has gotten to the point that it is because of the left and the Democrats. And if you disagree on one thing with them, like J.K. Rowling, for instance, with the trans issue, well, all of a sudden you're kicked out of the club. Same thing with Ana Kasparian. It pushes you out of the club. Yeah, the right wing does have its issues. The right wing does have purity testing and all that stuff, but it is not as bad as the left. And for Destiny to sit here and say that Ana Kasparian going independent is the opposite of left wing, again, very telling. What do you guys think below? What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below.
Aware of police procedure. I don't know what... Are you... Never mind. It's a conservative. If he had enough fent to kill a normal person, is it not normal to think he died from an overdose? No! He was not overdosing! You can look at him in the video. He is screaming. He is struggling. He is not overdosing from a downer. That is not how people OD on downers. He is not overdosing. No! Destiny, is this different from you not calling yourself a progressive anymore? anytime I have ever talked about how I don't think I'm a progressive, and you can literally go and follow my tweets on this, because I think Constantine tweeted out, he's like, oh, Destiny's finally realizing it. I will always remind people aggressively of exactly where I'm at on the political spectrum every time. You will never read anything from me and have a guess, oh, is Destiny becoming more conservative? That will never happen, because almost immediately after I'll say, but no confusion, I think progressives are insane, but I think that 90% of the Republican Party has lost their fucking minds and have like wandered off a fucking cliff. I'm still a very strong center-left to far-left Democrat. I just don't identify with progressives anymore. Isn't it a thing with opiates that you basically start to overdose right after taking the dose? You do OD on opiates fairly quickly, from what I've heard, like within minutes, but aren't you doing the same thing as Anna when just because progressives attacked you, you stopped wanting to associate with them? Because what I've seen is a change in the beliefs of what progressives actually believe. But none of my core beliefs have changed, and I sure aren't more sympathetic to conservative beliefs. How is Anna's birthing person thing not fucking stupid? It's just a term used in a medical context related to giving birth. I don't believe you, and I don't know if I'll ever believe you. Even if you were a doctor, I don't think I would believe you. That in hospitals they write birthing person on somebody's chart, I don't believe it. Is Anna going conservative now? I mean, hopefully not.
If you host a attract repeat guests.
Birthing persons is dumb, but bringing up this or pronouns in this kind of document seems out of touch and not focusing on what matters. Sure, but I mean, it's because she lives in the online world, right? Where these are the things that like define our current fucking political disagreements, which is frustrating and stupid, but you seem to imply she would be conservative.
It wasn't just that she had a problem with the pronouns. It's just that people's reaction to her having a problem with the pronouns. That's what turned her off. That's what turned Ana Kasparian off to the left wing, was the reaction to her saying these things. It wasn't just online either. Didn't you say like some of the people that she worked with, like one person quit and this other person reported her to HR? Like it was a whole thing. And she said even people in her personal life, like, or her friends in the left-wing sphere, turned their backs on her. So, no, it wasn't just like, oh, you know, Ana Kasparian got, like, butthurt at some of the things people were saying online. Like, no, they actively pushed her out. And that's what happens when you're not pure enough for the left wing. And that's why the right wing is kind of so more diverse with different opinions. And that's why there's a lot of infighting on the right. Because a lot of the right wing right now are made up of a bunch of people who got pushed out of the left, myself included. But what do you guys think about this? Do you guys agree with Ana Kasparian about the left and how they are? Do you think they suck? Because I do. Or do you agree with Destiny? Do you think Ana Kasparian is going to go more right wing? Leave a comment down below, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, you'll be helping me out a lot. I'll see you guys later.